Start before you can become perfect. This is a talk on action, imperfection, discipline, and becoming excellent. Start before you can become perfect. That statement sounds wrong, but permit me to say something that sounds wrong at first. You don't become perfect before you start anything. You start, then with time, you become perfect. Let that sit for a moment. Most people get this backwards. They wait. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until they know everything. They wait until the timing is perfect. They wait until the fear disappears. They wait until the mistakes stop. And while they wait, life moves on, as life is not stagnant. Opportunities move on. Energy moves on. Seasons move on. Other people also move on. But if you truly understand that you must start before you become perfect, then it can change your life forever. Perfection is not a starting point. Perfection is a destination reached through starting. We live in a generation obsessed with polished content, polished behaviors, polished bodies, polished businesses, polished confidence, polished appearance. But what you see polished started rough. Behind every smooth performance was a clumsy beginning. Yes, a clumsy beginning. Behind every overnight success were years of awkward attempts, awkward preparations. So let me ask you again, what have you been postponing because you want it to be perfect? That business, that idea, that music, that YouTube channel, that TikTok channel, that book yet to be published, that career shift, that fitness journey, that relationship conversation. How long will you wait? How long will you wait to get started? The trap of waiting to be ready, and many dreams die quietly. Not that people lack talent, not because they lack intelligence, but because they refuse to begin imperfectly, to start shakily. They say, I need more preparation. I need more education. They say, I'm not good enough yet. Yes, I am not good enough yet. They say, I will start when I'm confident. Yes, I will start when I have more education. But confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes from action. You don't learn to swim by reading about water. You don't learn to speak by studying silence. Yes. You don't learn leadership without leading. You have to lead people to be a leader. You don't learn business without selling. You don't learn business without opening a shop, without doing business. You don't learn discipline without doing difficult things consistently. Waiting to be perfect is often just fear wearing a polite name. It sounds responsible. It sounds courteous. It sounds wise. Yes, but many times it is what I call avoidance. Perfectionism can be disguised with procrastination. Perfectionism can be disguised procrastination. It protects your ego. Because if you never start, you never fail publicly. And if you never fail publicly, your identity remains intact. Your identity remains hidden. But so does your stagnation. There's a hidden comfort in not starting. No criticism, no exposure, no visible mistakes. But also, no growth. You heard me right. If you don't start, you can't grow. And no mastery, no excellence, no impact. Yes, no impact. If you want to grow, you must be willing to look inexperienced at first. Yes, that is the entry price. Perfection is built, not discovered. Here is a truth most people miss. Perfection is not something you discover inside of you. Perfection is something you build through repetition. Every expert was once slow, very slow. Every expert was once uncertain, was once inconsistent. Every expert was once unpolished. The first speech was awkward, including mine. The first video was uncomfortable, including mine. The first design was average, or even below average, like mine. The first attempt was flawed, with mistakes and errors, but they showed up anyway. Excellence is the result of daily effort. You heard me right? The result of daily effort, correction, feedback, and discipline. And it requires time. Yes, it requires time. You don't wake up excellent. You become excellent by doing ordinary things repeatedly well over time. The pianist didn't wake up talented. The athlete didn't wake up elite. The entrepreneur didn't wake up strategic. They practiced. They failed. They failed and failed again. Then they adjusted. They practiced again. And they failed. Repetition builds refinement. Refinement builds competence. Competence builds confidence. Confidence builds mastery. And mastery begins to resemble perfection. But it all started messy. Really messy. Start messy. Start shaking. Start small. Start down. If you wait for the perfect moment, you will definitely wait forever. Because conditions are rarely perfect. You heard me right. Money may not be complete. Charity or clarity may not be full. Support may not be strong. Energy may not be high. But progress rarely begins in comfort. Real progress looks like messy first attempts, awkward beginnings, rough drafts, uncomfortable learning curves. You will cringe at your early work. Yes, you will cringe. And that is normal. In fact, that is natural and that is life. If you are not slightly embarrassed by your first attempt, you probably waited too long to start and you have missed valuable opportunities. Starting does three powerful things in your life. It exposes your weaknesses. It gives you real feedback. It trains your discipline. You don't fix what you don't begin. Yes, you heard me right. You don't fix what you don't begin. You don't refine what you don't attempt. You don't improve what you don't practice. Starting is the doorway to perfection. Not thinking, not rationalizing, not planning endlessly without starting, not researching forever. You have researched enough. Start. Start. Start, even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it's shaky. Maybe 5 minutes, one post a day, one attempt a day, but start. One draft a day, start. One call a day, start. One workout a day, start. One step a day, start. One application a day, start. One phone call a day, start. One conversation a day, start. Small starts compounds over time. Discipline turns imperfection into excellence. Talent can open a door, but discipline keeps you in the room. When you start, you begin to see clearly. You begin to see your gaps. You begin to recognize your flaws, your mistakes. You notice what needs to be worked on, and you notice what works. That is not discouragement. That is clarity. And clarity is powerful. Because now you know what to fix, then you can fix it. Perfection is not about ever failing. It's about correcting faster your mistakes and learning quicker and improving consistently. The people you admire are not flawless. They made their mistakes in the past, but they are committed. They reviewed their performance over time. They adjusted their systems. They refined their craft. They showed up when motivation disappears. When motivation was at its lowest ebb, they showed up. Motivation starts you, but discipline sustains you. And sustained effort shapes excellence. The emotional resistance to starting, and let's go deeper. Why do people really avoid starting? Why do people really avoid starting? 1, fear of judgment. 2, fear of failure. 3, fear of looking inexperienced. Fear of confirming their own doubts. When you begin, you risk evidence. Evidence that you are not as skilled as you imagined. Evidence that growth will require work. Evidence that it won't be instant. But avoiding evidence also avoids progress. Growth requires exposure. And exposure feels vulnerable. You must decide. You must decide now to start. You must decide, is protecting your image more important than improving your ability? Because excellence demands humility. It demands saying, I am not there yet. But it's also saying, I am willing to get there. I am willing to get to the destination. Then willingness separates dreamers from doers, from builders, from people who grow. Begin where you are. Where you are, you don't need permission. Begin where you are. You don't need applause. Begin where you are. You don't need full confidence. Begin where you are. You don't need complete clarity. Begin, I mean start. You need courage to begin. Yes, you need it. But the courage is all built in you. Just start. Why be afraid? Why be unsure? Why be imperfect? Start. Start when your voice shakes. Start when your skills feels below average. Start when the outcome is uncertain. This is because movement creates momentum. And momentum builds rhythm. Rhythm builds mastery. Yes, it does. And mastery begins to look like perfection. You heard me right. And one day, what once embarrassed you will amaze you. And you amaze the world. Your daily attempts, your weekly attempts, your monthly attempts, your yearly attempts will become evidence of your growth. And you will look back and smile at how far you've come. But only if you start now. My closing words. The memorable truth. Stop waiting to be perfect. Perfection is waiting for you on the other side of starting. Start today. Improve tomorrow. And excel with time. Because in real life, in which we all live in, you don't start because you are perfect. You become excellent. You become perfect. Because you started it. You started. So whatever it is that is in your mind today, start. Start messy. Start small. Start shaking. Start imperfect. But start. Start now. Start. Because you have to start to be perfect. You have to start to be perfect. Yes, you heard me right. You have to start to be perfect.